our budgets and our buying power.
Also, new threats against a school prompting one campus to cancel class before the morning bell.
And 8 more years, the big deal that will keep star player Nate McKinnon with the Avs for maybe the rest of his playing career. We will see, but today at least it's going to feel a lot more like hockey season than it is baseball season, that's for sure.
But it's still football season, right?
Yeah.
Fall.
It's always
fall is
football
in the air.
season. Yeah.
And in Colorado, they all just kind of start blending together.
Right. What are we playing? Yeah, it is going to be cooler and some rain on the way too, Lisa.
Nice. And unfortunately for the mountains, it's good and bad because we could get about 2 to 4 inches of rain in some spots, which could lead to some flooding up and through the high country, especially across parts of southwestern Colorado. Right now, we're under some cloudy skies here in town. You're going to find a little mix of sun and clouds as you head west right now on I-70, but down across again the southwestern corner of the state, we're starting to see some of that subtropical moisture. It's pretty late in the season to see that, but it is going to lead to some areas of heavy rain here in town, talking about a ½ inch to an inch of rain for the plains and metro area, mainly between today and early tomorrow. That's going to get going this afternoon, and then in the mountains about 2 to 4 inches possible. It's going to be a good 30 degrees cooler here in town this afternoon, from 90s yesterday to 60s today, and right now we're in the low 60s, Jason, with maybe a few degrees of a warm-up by the afternoon. That's it.
Maybe in the low 50s here in the studio for us this morning. Right now we do have still a couple of trouble spots. Speaking of a place that's probably in the 50s is this Evergreen Parkway at I-70, and you can see some of the red that's showing up on the map. This is the reason why. You can see from the camera that we're still dealing with some paving operations here on that eastbound side. Traffic's coming from Beaver Brook through here, still very slow as you would head over to the Buffalo Herd Overlook. So a couple extra minutes, by about 10 extra minutes is what it's calculating as coming through there right now. You can see that on the drive time coming to or from the high country, a couple extra minutes there. The other trouble spot is down here at Lucin on eastbound 470. We're backing up now to before Santa Fe. As you take a look from the camera, we have a couple lanes that are blocked up now. Everybody's pushing over to the far right lane as they're trying to clear up this crash. So it's going to take some time. County Line could help you get around it maybe a little bit faster using Santa Fe, and then trying to use, let's say, Plaza Drive to get around it, something like that. You can see on the drive times right now down through the Denver Tech Center. You're still looking at some stop and go traffic. Earlier crash at Yale has long been cleared, but still feeling the effects from those earlier delays this morning. The rest of the drive's fairly quiet, including here to the north side, just busy into downtown.
Well, speaking of the north side, we do have some breaking news from overnight because Adams City High School's principal has canceled all classes and extracurricular activities today. The school is investigating a threat that has been circulating on social media. So we are working to learn more about that threat. But as of now, the school says classes will resume tomorrow. Also this morning, Wall Street is reacting to the Fed's plan to raise interest rates later today. The Dow just opened moments ago to start the trading day, but the rate hike is trying to slow down inflation and the high prices that we're all paying on everything from food to clothes.
Some are worried, though, today's announcement could go too far and hurt the economy more. We're going 360 in depth to put inflation and the interest rate increase into some perspective.
And we're talking to experts about possible solutions to help bring the prices down. We're also taking a closer look at how rising interest impacts your ability to buy a home. And so many of us use credit cards to buy everyday items right now. We have ways to keep your debt in check.
ABC's Alex Perche kicks off our team coverage now from Washington.
Today, the Federal Reserve is set to announce a policy that affects your money, increasing a key interest rate by an expected 0.75 of a point in hopes of tamping down inflation.
I'm optimistic we can kind of navigate through all this. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be uncomfortable.
Investors are worried the Fed could go even further today and raise rates by a full point after seeing last week's higher than expected inflation report. A full point increase could send the market into a tailspin.
If they do, that would be a surprise to me and to markets, to investors. Be a pretty bad day in the stock market.
The Fed is raising rates to throw cold water on the overheated economy by making it more expensive to borrow money. The hope is that will stop prices on nearly everything from continuing to rise. Americans paid 8.3% more for goods in August compared to a year ago. But in some areas, it's even worse, like in Phoenix, where prices are up a whopping 13% in the last year.
I got milk at $5 for a half gallon. I got a cucumber, that was 50 cents. Eggs were $4 for a dozen eggs. Salad was $2. And 2 cans of tuna. That's going to have to last a week.
There are signs that higher interest rates are working. The housing market has weakened and construction of new homes has slowed, but prices at grocery stores still soaring. And a new report warns home heating bills this winter could be the highest in a decade, up 17% from last year. So will today's expected interest rate hike provide any relief for your wallet? Experts say it takes time.
As they say, monetary policy works with a long lag, so it'll take a little bit of time, but it will show up. The economy will slow.
A bright spot in the economy remains jobs. Unemployment is under 4%, though experts think that could possibly jump to 5% by year's end. Alex Pache, ABC News, Washington.
Well, this has had us wondering, is the interest rate hike the only answer to rising inflation? Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us now. And Veronica, I know you talked to a local economist about this specifically and asked him the question if it would actually help if the unemployment rate went up. Maybe if people weren't making so much money, they wouldn't have as much money to spend. And could that curb inflation?
That was one of the points that I asked him and one of the questions that we really wanted to know about. He said that is a possibility, but more people are wanting more money across the country, and the reality of it is that is adding to the big problem that we have, that is inflation. He says he really feels for those companies that just can't afford to pay their employees more, but he's also worried about those increased wages and what that can mean for our price of goods long term. He actually used those railroad workers that got a most recent increase in their wages as an example here.
That kind of a raise of 24% will obviously make them able to spend more, because higher wages will obviously allow them to spend more, and then the prices will go up.
And I asked Kulkarni if he thinks this increase in the interest rate is going to make a big difference here, if he thinks our inflation will fall at all. Listen to what he had to say about that.
The main reason why it will not go down significantly is because in November and December, as you know, we all consumers go wild and crazy. We buy the presents, we spend a lot of money in shopping, and which obviously all that expenditure raises the price.
And just moments ago, we heard about how expensive groceries have gotten. We've seen eggs and milk go up in price like never before. He also said that the reality is those prices are likely here to stay. In Denver, I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Interesting, Veronica. Thank you. So what else could regulators do? Well, these are not popular or easy, but they are options. First, there are price controls. The government could decide to cap prices on certain items like milk or soap. Controls worked during World War II. President Nixon tried them again in the 1970s, though, and they failed. Some lawmakers also want to tax companies' historic profits, but critics worry disincentivizing production could make supply shortages worse. And finally, some want to ramp up production by dropping business taxes and regulations, but some of these could take years to implement.
And as we dig deeper this morning, another rate hike means it will likely cost us more to buy a new home, or if you're looking to sell, there will likely be fewer buyers in the market. Colorado just landed on a list of the 5th most expensive states for home buying, and mortgage rates are hovering around 6%. So add that to today's Fed announcement, that could push rates to their highest level since 2008. And that will likely change your buying power. Realtors say buyers who could have afforded a $700,000 home back in June are now looking in the $600,000 range.
But a home is someplace you want to live, and you want to live there and enjoy it now. So we say, marry the home, right? Buy the home that you want, understanding that at some point, whether it's in months or years, you have the ability to refinance in so much as date the rate, meaning you can readjust it.
Inflation and the end of stimulus checks mean many of us are putting more purchases on credit cards. And of course, those interest rates are rising. Bankrate.com reports the average rate is over 18%. Financial experts say it's easy to fall into what's called the credit card trap, where you simply don't have enough cash each month to cover your costs or even to pay off your monthly credit card bills. So the balance just keeps going up with inflation and with interest. If you feel like you're headed in that direction, you can try to pay down your balance starting with the highest credit card balance and the one with the highest rate. Also look for a 0% balance transfer card if you qualify for one, and pay with cash or a debit card, not a credit card when possible. We, of course, will be following the Fed's announcement today and what it means for you. You can keep an eye on that on air, online, on the on Denver7.com and on the Denver 7 Plus app on your streaming device.
Coming up, the new warning by Russia's president to the West as President Biden prepares to address the UN about the ongoing war in Ukraine.
And an incredible talent a Front Range family discovered in their little boy.